When I take a step back and I look at the Jets' needs this offseason, going into the combine, I ranked them out off the top of my head on Twitter today, like normal, healthy people do on Monday mornings. 1, tackle. They don't have both tackle spots are open.
2,
right
tackle
now,
again.
Right? Yeah. So number 1 is offensive tackle, because as it stands right now, they have no starters on the roster, and maybe one is AVT, but it's not 100% yet. And also there's durability questions about him, to be fair.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 2, wide receiver. They have Garrett Wilson and then a bunch of depth. They have a 4 and a 5 and a 6. So they're missing the number 2 and the number 3. They need 2 starters and 11 personnel. Number 3, I'd say backup quarterback. You have a really old guy. You have no backup right now. Zach Wilson's going to be traded for pennies on the dollar. Number 4, I said interior offensive lineman, which is less of a need if AVT stays at guard, and you have Tippmann, but if AVT moves out to tackle, you kind of need a guard. And Laken Tomlinson is bad, so you'd like to replace him with someone cheaper. Right. He's expensive and he's bad. A dangerous combination. Once you get past that, edge rusher, if you lose Huff, you get into like backup running back for Breece Hall. Like you want a proven veteran there. You look at tight end, like could you get more explosiveness and red zone production? Then you look at safety, where I kind of think they'll run everything back. Ultimately, is what I think. I think you'll get Davis back, you'll get Whitehead back, you'll get Clark back. It's a lot of needs. Now, on the positive side, if Rodgers is healthy, you have a top 10 quarterback, a top 3-ish running back if he's right in Breece Hall, an ascending potential number 1 receiver in Garrett Wilson, best cornerback trio in the NFL, an elite interior defensive lineman. If you keep Huff, you have 2 quality edge rushers with him and JJ. So there is a foundation there, but there is a lot of holes to fill. And my oversimplified take is like, look, like you got a 41-year-old quarterback. You might have a top 10 quarterback for 2 years. What I would do, and the Jets have money and flexibility, go back to listen to our Jason episode. Like I would simply try to keep all my good players who might leave.
They can do both. I don't understand this. If you sign Huff, you can't improve the offense.
Yeah. I would do 2 things. Yeah. I would keep my good players who might leave, of which you have like 1. So I would definitely keep him. And then I would try to use every cent I have right now to improving my weak spots. So that's Laken Tomlinson's spot. That's Alan Lazard's spot. That's Mekhi Becton's spot. I would play AVT at the most important position he can make an impact at, which is tackle. I understand it's short-term thinking. I don't care about salary cap hell because the salary cap goes up every year. And we ping-pong through this. And what's the worst that's going to happen with salary cap hell? The Jets are going to miss the playoffs for the 14th, 15th, and 16th
right, 100%. Like at this point,
what are we talking about here?
You got
the GM's 27 and 56. What do we
You
mean?
maybe got 2 years of Aaron Rodgers. There's no such thing as worrying too much about spending money. Woody Johnson's money. Imagine being a season ticket holder and hearing that with the payments they have to send inflating every year. Put out a good team on the field. Make the playoffs. Stop being embarrassing.
Come on. We're not asking for much. So look, we'll wrap it with that. Like I went through that needs list. Like, yeah, it's a lot. But on the other end, it's not all doom and gloom, because if Rodgers is out there, Rodgers, Breece, Garrett
really good.
With a healthy AVT up front, Tippmann up front, and a meaningful addition or 2 on offense, like that should be a good, fun offense that goes with a defense we know is going to be good. Worst case is like the 12th best defense in the league. You got really good specials. If you take care of business with Zerline and Morstead and Hardy, like you'll be fine there. It's not that far away if they handle their business in the offseason. Before you get on the flight, I'll ask you, before I do my PSAs to wrap us, give me, what's the first meaningful Jets move that happens this offseason?
Oh, so league year opens. They will sign an offensive lineman, I think, day 1 of free agency.
Okay. I would love that.
I think a notable one. Shout out to our boy Wes Schweitzer, but it won't be like that level of player. Man, it sucked when he got hurt last year.
Yeah, miss him.
Right. We missed him in McGovern real quick.
Yeah.
I think they will sign, and they couldn't even tell you this right now because they've gone out into free agency before thinking, hey, we're going to get Joe Tooney or whoever it is, and you get punched in the mouth. Yeah. But I think they will go out and they will pay top dollar to one of the, we'll say, 8 best offensive linemen available in free agency. I really think that'll be the first move. I mean, let's just do this and be fair and rip through it right now. Okay. So The best tackles available: Tyron Smith, Trent Brown, Mike Onwenu, Mekhi Becton, Jonah Williams. That's not really a
Exciting.
that's not an inspiring group. I'm going to lean that it's Onwenu maybe, but I'll lean that it's not from that group. But Onwenu would be the only one I say maybe. Look at guards: Dotson, Robert Hunt, Zeitler. That's a good group. That's a really
it's a good group out there.
Yeah, I would say it's one of those three plus Onwenu. So one of those four, I think, is who they try to come away with. I think right out of the gate, because then you have at least some pieces plugged into this offensive line that you desperate I get a better feel for this after coming. I don't think they're going to come out in hour one and give Calvin Ridley $80 million. I know a lot of people are on that one. I don't know. That just doesn't feel like. So per Brad Spielberger, who does such a good job at all this, he has Ridley getting 3 years, 17 per year, 30 guaranteed, 51 total. That's not a crazy contract, but I don't know if that's the play. I think what they would try to do is trade for a wide receiver or see how the depth of that class falls. I mean, sure, everybody's going to call Mike Evans. We'll see what happens with that one. But my prediction would be in the first day of free agency, they sign a legitimate plug-in upgrade starter for the offensive line.
They signed Zeitler. We'll be doing the emergency pod, stretching ourselves to say it's the next version of Faneca.
That's what I was going to say.
There's our
Zeitler. Zeitler is big Faneca vibes in terms of, where he'd be in his career and getting him to come here and just be a rock solid player. I think Onwenu, because he has the tackle flexibility, is maybe the most exciting, because then you start playing with combinations and that kind of opens up what you do for the draft. The guy who had the best season last year out of all of them is ironically Dotson. I mean, Dotson was truly phenomenal last year. So, and I mean, Dotson has a little bit of what Douglas likes, is that he can kind of just punch you in the mouth while being able to pass protect. They've been looking to be a nastier team, and they haven't found a way to do that, going all the way back to drafting Becton. So, yeah. And honestly, let's be real. It's not a crazy bold prediction for me, because I think if they don't sign one of the top offensive line out of the gate, which is how NFL free agency goes, it's not like baseball free agency out of the gate, it's a colossal failure. It's a colossal failure. I don't care how much it costs.
The Dotson emergency pod. I hope it happens. They need that kind of splash to get this thing started. Okay, they landed a big fish free agent offensive lineman, loosens everything up a little bit. I'm going to predict that we get a Zach Wilson trade in about 8 days for a day 3 pick. And that he's traded to an NFC team who's not the Rams, right before the league year starts, for a day 3 pick. And that
Arizona.
When the league, something like that, where we never hear from Zach again for a while, until the Athletic article comes out with the 40 anonymous sources about how bad he was. And then on the first moment of the league year, the Jets signed Jacoby Brissett to a 2-year, $26 million contract to be the highest paid backup quarterback in the league. Something like that. Yeah, that's going to be the first one.
That's
after Woody's comments at NFL Honors, we need a backup quarterback. They have that lined up, and maybe it's Brissett, maybe it's Minshew, maybe it's Tannehill, maybe it's Tyrod Taylor. But I think it ends up being Brissett as the guy, and then they move to the offensive line, and that'd be a nice day one. You get Brissett.
That would
be
a good day one.
That's a good start. Then you figure out receiver from there, and maybe the Devontae dream's not fully dead, but I don't think it's going to happen. We'll see though. There'll be other guys who shake free. For some reason, I keep thinking Mike Williams is going to end up with the Jets at some point. Those are
the interesting ones. The guys that aren't cut yet, but can absolutely play. He's already been paid, so
Williams run that 9 route.
Yeah, I could see that. My real prediction that is unique is that the wide receiver will be someone that we didn't expect, like the cross off Devontae Adams, Calvin Ridley. Missing a couple. I've been Mike Evans would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. He would be awesome. It's just so hard to actually picture that one coming to life.
That'd be crazy.
That'd
be very exciting.
I will say, a couple weeks ago, I said I can never see him leaving the Bucs. It's gotten more realistic than I ever thought it could. I'm still not there, but he what he's asking for, they weren't willing to meet. So it's not unreal. But also, everybody will want Mike Evans.
Of course,
Like, just because
yeah.
the Jets need a wide receiver, the Chiefs will probably want Mike Evans, right? The Bills
He doesn't
will
want.
probably
He doesn't
Mike
want to come
Evans.
to New Jersey and play at MetLife. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
After
exactly.
living in Florida his whole life, he doesn't want to come pay some more taxes and play in a
cool.
dangerous field.
All my paycheck gets taken by the state government. Lovely.
Yeah, you're
Very
gonna
fun.
love that. You get to live in Morris County. Be excited. Good pizza. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Friday, hats dropping. Get into War Room if